Welcome to the critically acclaimed Loose Change. What's that? The critics still don't know about us? Yeah. But why would they? Hey, it's critical that you hang around. Hi, I'm Jim Evans. We have a great show for you and a really great guest. I'm really excited about this, so you want to hang with us. Recently, I'm at home. I'm laying on the couch sleeping, and I wake up and the TV's on, and there's a show about the planet Neptune. Captivating stuff. They're showing this barren, uninhabitable landscape, these giant craters. And then I realized, wait a minute. It's just video of Southern Boulevard they're showing on the news here. That's all. Among other roads. And a big part of that was the winter. The third coldest winter ever recorded around here. Ever. Third coldest. Couldn't get out of that soon enough. In fact, for pretty much most everyone around here, the only thing they wanted to see make a quicker exit was YSU President Randy Dunn. You may have heard the possibility, and I guess beyond that now, of unions for college athletes. The wheel's already turning. They got to go on at Northwestern. And there's arguments on both sides of this, but it looks like it's going to happen in some form. And I think it really can work, especially when you consider the collective athletic mindset. Because, hey, we know there's no I in Teamsters, so we got a chance for that, perhaps. And speaking of unions, how about Hugh Hefner and his wife, Crystal Harris? They recently celebrated their one-year wedding anniversary. Despite their 60-year age difference, still a lot of passion there. So much so, in fact, they were just spotted making out in the backseat of his stretch hover-round. You better stick around. That'd be a pretty good idea. Stacie Cepin joins us next. It's right here on Loose Change. We'll be right back.
Armstrong Local Programming features our community like no one else. Meet your friends and neighbors at special events. Find the perfect pet. Celebrate our region's rich history or enjoy our natural wonders. Armstrong Local Programming is available online, on demand, and on your local Armstrong channel. Find the complete program schedule at ArmstrongOneWire.com. Local programming, exclusively from Armstrong. One Wire, infinite possibilities.
Welcome back to Loose Change. I'm Jim Evans, and I have the pleasure to be joined right now by the head coach of the Fitch girls basketball team, Stacie Cepin. And I told you we had a good guest. Stacie, thanks so much for being with us. And for those who don't know a lot about you, and this is what we kind of like to do, give us a little background, a little biography about yourself and where you went to school and your college days and coaching and that type of thing.
Well, thanks, Jim, for having me here.
Sure.
I grew up in Camel, Ohio, right down the road from here, and went to Camel Memorial High School and played all kind of sports, but basketball was that's the one that got my heart, and I continued to play in college. Went to Youngstown State for 2 years on a basketball scholarship, and I needed a change, and I just needed to kind of grow up a little bit, and I ended up taking an opportunity and moving actually all the way to University of Alaska Anchorage in Anchorage, Alaska, and played 2 years there, and then I got my coaching career started there as well.
You've been coaching 15 years, I believe, and
16
and 5 years as head coach.
Just completed my 16th year, which is unbelievable. I was talking about that with my parents, and my 5th year at Austintown Fitch, and it's my 10th year as a head coach in high school basketball. So
wow. Before we move any further than that, what was it like in Alaska? I know a lot of people, what's that like?
Well, if you experienced the winter we did this year, that was very similar.
Okay.
It's just a beautiful place. It's hard to explain unless you've been there. Fantastic experience. One of the best things one of the best decisions I ever made. The people up there are amazing. The country's just beautiful. Countryside is beautiful. And I got to play, my favorite game and go to school and have an experience that, a lot of people around this area can't say that. So, it got me started in coaching too.
You said you wanted to get away. That's getting away. What was it about Alaska that drew you there? The way it happened was kind of funny, but
when the opportunity presented itself, I went and took a visit, and I just knew as soon as I got there, I thought I'm never going to get an opportunity like this again. And I love to travel, and I surprised a lot of people because, you know, being around here and all my family was here and grew up here. I did shock a lot of people when I went up there, but like I said, it started me on a journey where I moved all over the country, and I've lived in 5 states actually.
Wow.
And but one of the experiences I'll never forget, I lived there for 4 years. So I got my 2 years of eligibility done there as well with basketball, and then I stayed to coach for 2 years.
What did you gather along the way at different stops in coaching that helped you get to where you're at now?
Well, and you know, they say that if you're a teacher or a coach, you know, you're going to pull different ideas and philosophies to make your own, and that's exactly what I did. I worked under a number of different coaches, and I met a lot of coaches on both the men's and women's side along the way that I still keep in contact with, and it just really helped me become a more well-rounded, not only coach or teacher, but person. And I've been able to experience different, parts of this country and just see how people do things, other places. And I brought all those experiences together, to kind of make who I am today.
Pretty much everyone I talk to, it seems pretty standard. If they're a good coach, they're a good teacher. And that's a big thing.
I hope
isn't
so,
it?
because that's what I do for a living as well. And I do enjoy kids.
Yeah.
It's funny, I started out in civil engineering, and I don't mean to offend any engineers, but I'm from a family of teachers, and that drew me back. And, I worked at a couple basketball camps my freshman and sophomore year in college, and I just fell in love with doing that and being around kids. So eventually I was drawn back to teaching, and both of my parents were teachers, and so I've been accustomed to seeing all that as I've grown up, and I just really love to help kids, and this is a way for me to do it both through teaching and through coaching. But I feel like when I'm at practice, that's the best part. Games are kind of like the cherry on top, but practice that's the time with my kids that I can help them learn and build, them, and that's where they grow. And so I enjoy practice a lot, a great deal, and teaching is a huge part of that. I mean, if you're not a good teacher, you're not going to be a good coach.
No. What would you say is your coaching philosophy?
Wow.
if you can.
I think, number one, the reason why I do it is that, again, I want to see kids grow. This past year, the group of seniors we had, the 5 group of seniors that we had, I've known them since they were in 8th grade. And just to see the process of just them growing up and getting better, not only as players, but as student athletes. And, now they're going to graduate and go off in different directions, and to be able to see that. And I want to help kids grow and learn. And bottom line, that's where it is. I want to help them, through the hard times, the good times, but to, learn about life. And I think,
Sure.
That's where a lot of my philosophy lies. And I'm a huge competitor. No one wants to win more than me. But when it all, settles down, I want to help kids just be better people.
Yeah, and you just touched on that, how at this level, at the high school level, certainly, it is more than just going out and wins and losses. There's
Absolutely.
So much more to be
Absolutely. And
kids.
I've coached at the college level and at the high school level, and certainly this part of their life is just it's an important growing experience. Because when they turn 18, and again, I've been on the college side of it, they're adults, and so you put a lot of ownership on them, whereas here, you're really kind of molding and help developing different aspects of their life. And it's been great. Like I said, 10 years I've been doing this as a high school head coach, and I've had some fantastic experiences, and there's been a lot of struggles. But
Sure.
At the end, when you see those kids graduate and, again, come back later, when I see former players come back, it just makes me smile every time. I love when they come to a game or knock on my door in my classroom. And no matter what you've been through with those kids, for them to come back has been fantastic.
Absolutely. Is there a person, that really influenced you as far as coaching? Somebody that maybe was your mentor, or just somebody that you really said, this is who I'm going to really emulate?
Definitely my parents have been a huge part of just of helping me. My dad was a swim coach for years, so he's definitely somebody that I saw when I was really super young. He coached in Hubbard and was a swim coach for a long time.
Nice pool there.
Yep, and he was in there. We spent many a days and nights at that place, and so definitely my dad. And then my college coach in Alaska, his name was Harry Larrabee. He's down in Indiana at a high school right now. So he changed a lot of things about the way that I think, or the way I can look at how to coach. And he gave me a different perspective of, just helping kids. And he helped me in that way. And I guess, the old cliche of pay it forward, that's what I like to do. And again, there's so many other coaches out there that you see, on TV. And Coach Krzyzewski from Duke is one of my favorites. I had the opportunity to meet him and see some of his practices. And there's so many more, but Pat Summitt is a huge role model for women and what she has done and her legacy. So to see, some of these coaches, I watch a lot of basketball games, but I like to study coaches and read about coaches and people and just see how they handle situations. So I pull from different, whether it's how not to do something, or just seeing the success of others. How can I, maybe mimic some of that or make things better for what we're doing.
So needless to say, I would want this to be the case. It's still a work in progress for you.
Absolutely, every day. Until I decide that I don't want to do it anymore. Every day, you always can learn something. I go to our boys' games. What can I see? I watch things on TV, and even the NBA gets a bad rap. But you could always learn something from somebody that's doing the same craft as you. So I like to study people and see how it can make me better.
What do you feel that maybe you'd like to do better as a coach? Anything in particular? I just continue to help grow this program and make it successful and consistent. You see some of the great programs. Coach Pavlansky just resigned, and he's been around for a long time. And I want to say I think they've had a winning season for a long time, a lot of years, and I know every year he's coached. And just to see that kind of success, but also build and maintain those relationships with those players and help them in any way, just keep moving forward and try to be a positive influence on the kids that come through our program. You mentioned the program, and we always talk about sports talk about the difference. And here coaches talk about this, about having a team and having a program. There's a big difference.
Absolutely.
Talk about that.
And I've been in several situations now where you kind of taken over a program that's been struggling, and I've seen this team go through a lot of struggles, but now I think that we've done so many good things that we're seeing the success now, and we're starting to enjoy that. And I just trust me, I would love to win, a championship, at the next level. But, more than that, I just want to see kids be successful. So, as long as I have that love in my heart and I'm able to do it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Is it key, and I would think it is, in terms of back to the success of the program and building a program, to have success at the lower levels first, obviously, as they move up?
Absolutely. The first thing that we talked about when I got here with our athletic director and the staff that I've had over the years is it's imperative that you have building blocks down there in the lower levels, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and you have good coaches surrounding you, and trustworthy coaches and people that want the same things that you want, and doing things the right way. There's so many temptations out there nowadays, and we hear enough stories, but trying to build your program the right way and continue to do a good job. It's not easy, and from day one, I always said if I was going to coach high school, I remember talking to a really good friend of mine that I played with in Alaska. I said, if I coach a high school team, I want to get one that's kind of struggling and build it up and see, over a period of 3 to 5 years and see what can happen. And I've experienced that now. So now I want to see, okay, how can we make this more of a competitive program and maybe get to that next level? And being Division I, it's tough. There's nobody above us, and we have to deal with a lot of really, really good programs out there. But we're going to continue to do the best we can.
Well, you certainly have done pretty good to this point here, and our next level is coming up. You can hang around, right? We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with Stacie Cepin. It's all right here on Loose Change. Hang with us. Welcome back to Loose Change, along with Stacie Cepin. I'm Jim Evans, and we're talking high school basketball. Of course, Stacie, the head coach of the Fitch girls basketball team, and you guys, you had a pretty good season this year. First time in quite a while that you won a league championship. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was a great feeling. It's honestly the first time I've ever experienced that on a high school level, even playing or coaching as a head coach, and just to see the growth of those kids get to this point and do what we did, it was a great feeling, and it's a true testament to those leaders that we had this year. So I was really proud, and it was a great moment, and it's always going to be there. But it's been 20 years since Fitch girls have had a league championship.
Well, you said you wanted to take on, a program that was, at least somewhat in a challenge situation. So you did that, but you set goals along the way, and certainly a league championship is one of the goals, and others as well.
Right, and we were oh so close last year to at least we were trying to at least tie, and we came up a few points short to Canfield. And over the summer, our seniors, we sat down and we made several goals, and I left it up to them. I had such a mature group of kids, and again, I've known them a long time, so to I've coached a little differently with them. I gave them a lot of ownership this year, and they set the goals. There was a lot of teaching done by that group to our younger, underclassmen, and one of them was to win the league, and we were successful with that. And again, just to see the smiles, and and we have all the pictures and everything, and it's going to be in the trophy case, and they can't ever take that away from them.
Absolutely. As a player, and now obviously as a coach, and we hear this all the time: senior leadership. And we're taping the show, and the NCAA men's basketball championship just finished, and of course Connecticut won the thing. And to me, and I thought this going in that the better basketball team beat the team that's younger but a little more athletic but younger, and that those guys that have that experience, and your girls have that experience, that really means so much.
Right, and I think over the years too, being here, seeing some of those other programs do that and use their senior leadership, our kids definitely learned from that. And with a group of 5 girls that have known each other, they played on an AAU team or something, or they've known each other since the 6th grade, and some longer than that. But going through the years and just being able to stick together, I think that's important. But as they got into this role this year, it just was amazing to see their relationships with the younger kids and how the younger kids respected them. And after the last game of the season is always tough, because you're going to lose unless you're the state champ. So, sitting in the locker room, and it's always tough. A lot of tears, but to hear the conversations that were going on between the underclassmen and the upperclassmen, and how much love there was in that room, it really was truly a family. And I get chills even just thinking about that.
Sure. And you mentioned earlier about assistant coaches, and I know you know, then every head coach will tell you, I'm only as good as my assistants, and obviously, you know, that's the case a little more so in specific situation. But obviously, you have great assistants helping you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the key is to you know, just be able to trust each other, and you know, have great assistants, and it's like you're a family. You spend so much time with each other, and scouting and going over film, and practice planning, and figuring out which shoes to buy for the girls, and what, you know, what they want, and trying to, you know, make everything run, and absolutely you have to have the right staff. So yeah, very thankful for what they have done, and sticking with, you know, not just the good times but the bad times. But this year was such a special year, and I'm glad that they all got to experience that this year too.
Absolutely. Aside from the age difference, you know, the obvious thing, what for you is the biggest difference between coaching at the high school and the college level?
Well, definitely the age difference, but I think the level of competitiveness too. What's tough with high school is so many of them play different sports too, so you have to be patient, and you have to compromise. And you don't always have them all the time either. Like in college, you know, they're in dorms on your campus, you know, and you set the rules pretty tight. Whereas in high school, you know, when they go home, they're with their families, you know, and there's no curfew checks and any of that stuff. And you trust them and their families, and trust that they, you know, or at least try to build that trust that they can make good decisions away from when you have them, you know. So and it's a privilege to play high school basketball.
Sure is.
You know, when you're going to college, you know, you could say it's a privilege too, but you know, you're getting money to go there. Here, you know, it's a privilege. You try out, you make the team, you earn that spot, and it's not a perfect situation, but it's a really cool situation, and seeing that process.
Not that you're that far removed from your playing days, but have the kids changed, you know, from then to now a whole lot, or is it pretty much?
It's, you know, with things, there have been some things I think that have changed. AAU is so huge right now, and that's taken away. There's pros and cons with that. It gives our girls, you know, really good experience, yet you know, sometimes they create bad habits, so that could become frustrating sometimes. You have to find the right AAU coaches for your girls to play under, and I think we have done that. You know, with some of our girls right now, Megan Sefcik is just been an amazing player for us over the last 4 or 5 years, and she's going to the University of Akron. Casey Custer, another amazing player for us, just committed to Mount Union. They both had really good AAU coaches too, and we worked well together. And, you know, I know some of our underclassmen right now are you know, playing too. So that's again, they're in somebody else's hands, and you just hope that they continue to get better and do the things that you've asked them to do, or how, you know, how to get better and not create bad habits.
What would you say is or are the biggest challenges as a coach today?
There's just so much social media. You never know
everybody says.
There's so much social media, and kids making, you know, we have no control over that. But the kids that have cell phones and have these devices, you know, I don't think are mature enough to really handle all the decisions they make.
Heck, most of the adults aren't.
Yeah, and so that makes it tough, because I mean, information is instant now. I mean, no matter what, you play a game, and we try to control it where, you know, we have collected phones in situations when we're at team gatherings or we're on away games, home games, and we lock them up, and we tell them you have to talk to each other. You're not going to sit in the stands and text. You're going to talk to your teammates and watch the JV game. You know, the JVs, you're going to watch the varsity game. You're going to learn. On the bus, they're not on their phones, they're talking to each other. Because, I mean, it's so crazy now, we can be sitting next to each other, texting each other.
Sure.
And we're trying to teach them how to communicate in person. I think that's one of my biggest things is to try to communicate better. I think all my kids know that. So, but definitely social media, that's one of the biggest changes since when I played.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know, you know, my time, you know, doing this, being involved in sports locally, I know girls basketball has really ascended and really has really come on. Certainly, in recent years here, but it's really become a really good thing.
And I think that's great. And I hope, when I played, there were some really, really good rivals with Boardman and Canfield, and the crowds were really good. And I'm hoping that, once in a while we see some really good crowds, but I'm hoping that, that kind of resurfaces. And with how they've changed the All-American Conference, again, for next year, where they've brought Boardman in and Harding in and East and, some of these teams, I think it's great for the area. Also, with the tournament this year, they had the first and second round. If you had the better record, you were able to host. That was fantastic for us.
Yep.
And I think that creates a great atmosphere. I think it helps, especially this area. We played Boardman the year before. We played them at Akron Ellet, and no offense to those people out there, but we hardly had anybody in the stands, and we were 5 minutes away from each other. This year, much different. Yeah. They brought a ton of fans. We had a ton of fans. Great. Place was rocking. Game came down to the last second. Fantastic for girls basketball in this area.
Absolutely. I've seen it improve for sure, and I've had the opportunity, the pleasure to go to state and do a couple games, broadcast a couple games, the girls' games, and it was just as pumped and electric as the boys' games. People were really into it.
I think it's great. I watched them on TV this year, and I think it's great. And I think, a lot of girls are starting to learn a lot more and how to, there's a lot more athleticism and being able to strength train and do some of the speed agility stuff has really helped the women's game and, to make them better athletes. So.
We only have a moment left here, but obviously, your success is speaking for itself. But you're very fortunate to and you made the right decision. But I think you're very fortunate to be at a program like you are at Fitch, and how Austintown schools are really coming on here and doing a lot of really positive things of late.
Yeah, I definitely, and in our district, so many positive things are happening. And, we're building new schools and that kind of thing. But proud of our girls and what they've done. I'm proud of the people that have helped with the building blocks underneath that won't get mentioned all the time, and just some of those people that just have really stepped up big to help our program. And we're going to continue to work hard and hopefully keep this thing going and make it enjoyable for people to come out and watch us.
Well, you've done that, and I'm sure you're going to have continued success. Thanks so much, Stacie, for being on the program.
Appreciate it.
Stacie Cepin. We'll be back with, what is this show? Loose Change, right after this.
Bigger smiles, louder cheers, longer talks. Enjoy the possibilities more than ever with Armstrong. Armstrong delivers the latest in television, on-demand, multi-room PVR, high definition. Zoom Internet has the speed and reliability you need for all your devices. And it's all backed by local award-winning customer service to keep you connected. Enjoy the possibilities with Armstrong.
Welcome back to Loose Change, and as we close out the program, we have a little extra time to maybe try something a little bit different. What we'd like to do is take a look at the newspaper and see what might be in there that we can kind of look at and maybe twist around and maybe have a little fun and see what we can do with. So we'll take a swing at that right now. Let's see here. First page. Well, I don't see anything, Greg. Hey, there's a sale at Penny's. Hey, that's going to do it for our show. Thanks so much to Stacie Cepin. For Greg Roten, I'm Jim Evans. We'll see you next time right here on Loose Change. We will.